Welcome to Senior Health and Happiness, where we believe that aging can be graceful, strong, and joyful. Let's take care of your health, one simple habit at a time. Let me ask you something that might sound familiar. Have you ever caught yourself losing your balance while reaching for something on a high shelf? Or maybe you felt a little dizzy when you stood up too quickly from your favorite recliner? Perhaps you've heard about a friend who fell while walking to the bathroom at night and ended up in the hospital. If so, you're certainly not alone. 1. Why fall prevention matters. After 60. Every year, more than 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 will experience a fall. It's one of those statistics that feels impersonal until it becomes personal. A fall might sound like a simple accident, but for older adults, it can lead to serious consequences: fractures, hospitalization, or even a long-term loss of independence. And it often comes without warning. But here's the good news. Falling isn't just an inevitable part of aging. There are ways to prepare your body, your home, and your habits to reduce the risk dramatically. This video is not meant to alarm you. It's meant to empower you, with knowledge, with simple practices, and with a shift in mindset that supports strength and safety in your daily life. Let me share a story. Years ago, I had a patient named Martha. She was 72, full of energy, and loved gardening. But one rainy afternoon, while hurrying to grab her mail, she slipped on her wet front step. She fractured her hip and spent months in rehab. When I visited her during recovery, she told me something that stayed with me. I never thought a single step could change my life. That single step cost her months of independence. But Martha also said something else. If I had known how to train for balance and keep my legs strong, maybe I wouldn't be here. That's the heart of today's conversation. How we can protect that precious independence, not by wrapping ourselves in bubble wrap or living in fear, but by understanding how the aging body changes and how we can work with those changes, not against them. You see, as we get older, our bodies shift in ways that aren't always obvious. At first, our muscle mass naturally decreases. Our reflexes slow just a bit. Our vision might blur more easily in low light. Some medications we've been on for years may now affect our balance. And even something as simple as dehydration or skipping a meal can lead to lightheadedness. None of these things make us weak. They simply mean that the rules have changed, and we can adapt. Fall prevention, then, isn't about limitation. It's about liberation. When we strengthen our balance and improve our body awareness, we gain confidence. We walk into each day a little taller, a little steadier, a little more prepared for the joys of aging. It's also important to understand that preventing falls is about more than just avoiding accidents. It's about protecting our lifestyle, our routines, our relationships. Because when you feel steady and strong, you're more likely to keep doing the things you love, whether it's walking your dog, going out for coffee with friends, dancing at your granddaughter's wedding, or simply enjoying your garden. In fact, I'd encourage you to shift how you think about fall prevention. Don't just think of it as something to avoid. Think of it as something to build. Just like we brush our teeth to protect our smiles, we can strengthen our balance and awareness to protect our steps. It's a kind of daily maintenance for independence. And it doesn't have to be difficult. It can begin with small things. A 5-minute stretch in the morning, using the stair rail every time without guilt, or simply noticing when your body feels unsteady and taking a moment to breathe and reset. Another story comes to mind. A gentleman named Carl, he was 68, told me he avoided walking to his local diner because he was afraid he might trip on the uneven sidewalk. But after working on balance training for just a few weeks, simple stuff, nothing fancy, he told me with a smile, "I walked all the way to breakfast this morning, sat by the window, read the paper. Just like old times." That's the kind of victory we're aiming for. So in the rest of this video, I'll be guiding you through some surprising hidden causes of falls that might be in your home right now. A few gentle strength exercises that can support your joints and keep you mobile. Balance-building movements you can try today, right in your living room. And how to turn your space and your mindset into a fall prevention ally. These aren't complex routines. You won't need fancy equipment. Just your attention, your willingness to take small steps, and a bit of encouragement. And before we move on, I want to be clear. If you've already experienced a fall, you're not alone. And you're not broken. Every moment forward is a chance to regain trust in your body. Healing isn't linear, but it's always possible. Let this video be your companion. Not a lecture, not a list of don'ts, but a warm, reassuring hand on your shoulder, reminding you that you're still capable, still resilient, and still growing. Now, let's take a closer look at the world around us and explore the hidden causes of falls that might be closer than you think. 2. Hidden causes of falls in daily life. Now that we've talked about why fall prevention truly matters, let's turn our attention to something just as important: understanding where the real risks lie. Many people assume that falls are simply the result of clumsiness or bad luck. But in reality, most falls are caused by a combination of small, everyday factors that quietly build up over time. And here's the thing. Once you know what to look for, you can start to change your environment and your habits in ways that make a big difference, without disrupting your lifestyle. Let's start with your home. Your home should be your sanctuary. But for many seniors, it's also where most falls happen. Why? Because we stop noticing the small things. A rug that's always been a little loose in the hallway. A stack of books next to the armchair. A light bulb that went out a week ago and hasn't been replaced yet. These little things become invisible because they're so familiar. But familiarity doesn't mean safety. Take, for example, area rugs. I've had patients who never gave a second thought to the rug in their entryway, until their toe caught the corner one morning, and down they went. That rug had been there for 20 years. It wasn't new, it wasn't slippery, but it was a hazard all the same. Or think about poor lighting. Many of us get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. If the hallway is dim or cluttered, one misstep in the dark is all it takes. Something as simple as installing nightlights or motion sensor lighting can make those nighttime trips safer without making your home feel like a hospital. Let's not forget about shoes and slippers. Footwear with worn-out soles, open backs, or no support might feel comfortable, but they can be dangerous. Sturdy, non-slip soles are your best friend when it comes to fall prevention. A simple switch in footwear can bring you a whole new level of confidence in your steps. Now, let's move beyond the physical environment for a moment, because your inner environment matters too. Did you know that certain medications, especially those for blood pressure, anxiety, sleep, or even allergies, can cause dizziness or drowsiness? Even if you've been taking the same pill for years, your body may respond differently over time. What was once a minor side effect can become a real risk as your metabolism changes with age. That's why it's so important to review your medications regularly with your doctor or pharmacist. And not just the prescriptions, include over-the-counter supplements and herbal remedies too. Sometimes it's the combination of substances that causes unexpected side effects. And then there's dehydration. It sounds so simple, but not drinking enough water can affect your balance, cause fatigue, and make you feel lightheaded. As we get older, our sense of thirst naturally becomes less sharp. By the time you feel thirsty, your body may already be low on fluids. A good rule of thumb? Sip water steadily throughout the day, even if you don't feel especially thirsty. Low blood sugar can be another hidden culprit. Skipping meals, eating too little, or going too long without a snack can lead to a sudden drop in blood sugar, which in turn can cause shakiness or a dizzy spell. That's why regular, balanced meals are so essential, not just for nutrition, but for stability and energy. Let me share a quick story. I once worked with a woman named Gloria. She was 74, lived alone, and had been feeling a little more tired than usual. One afternoon, she stood up quickly after folding laundry and immediately felt the room spin. She fell and bruised her ribs on the way down. After talking through her routine, we realized she'd had very little to eat that day, had skipped her usual glass of water in the morning, and had recently started a new medication that lowered her blood pressure more than expected. That fall wasn't just about getting up too fast, it was about the small things that added up. Things we could change once we saw the whole picture. So how do we begin to reduce risk in our everyday life? The answer begins with awareness. And I don't mean fear or hypervigilance, I mean curiosity. Start by asking gentle questions. Are there areas in my home where I've tripped before? Even just slightly? Do I sometimes feel dizzy when I stand up? Are there items on the floor or in walkways that I've stopped noticing? When was the last time I reviewed my medications with a professional? Do I drink enough water and eat regularly throughout the day? These questions aren't meant to overwhelm you. They're meant to bring attention to the spaces and habits we've grown used to. And with awareness comes power. You might be surprised how many people answer yes to more than one of those questions, and how a few thoughtful changes can help prevent a serious fall before it ever happens. Here's a simple exercise I like to suggest. Walk through your home slowly, as if you're seeing it for the first time. Bring a notepad or ask a loved one to join you. Look at the rugs, the cords, the lighting, the height of the furniture. Imagine getting up at night and making your way to the kitchen. What might get in your way? Sometimes just seeing our space with fresh eyes opens a door to safer, more comfortable living. And don't forget, fall risk isn't just about the things around us. It's also about how we move through them. If you find yourself rushing often, whether to answer the phone, open the door, or catch the kettle before it whistles, try to slow down. Taking a pause before moving can prevent that moment of imbalance that leads to a fall. That pause isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. You've lived through decades of changes. You've adapted to technology, relationships, and life's surprises. Adapting to the changes in your own body is just one more chapter, and it's one you get to write. So in this chapter, let's make the next step a confident one. In our next section, we're going to shift focus toward action. We'll walk through gentle, strength-building movements that are designed specifically for older adults. These exercises are easy to follow, require no fancy equipment, and can help you feel more stable, strong, and in control. Starting today. Let's get moving. Together. 3. Building strength with gentle daily movements. Let's talk about strength. Not the kind you see in weightlifters or marathon runners, but the quiet, steady strength that lets you rise from a chair with ease, walk up a set of stairs without holding your breath, and carry your groceries from the car without worrying about your knees. That kind of strength is what keeps us independent. It's the foundation for every step we take, and one of the most powerful tools we have for preventing falls. Now, I want to reassure you. Building strength doesn't mean you need to join a gym or push your body beyond what's comfortable. In fact, for older adults, the most effective strength-building routines are often the gentlest. What matters most is not intensity. It's consistency. Let's begin with one of the simplest, most underrated exercises, the sit-to-stand. This movement mimics something you already do every day, getting up from a chair. But when done with intention, it becomes a powerful way to build strength in your legs, hips, and core. Here's how to do it. Choose a sturdy chair, preferably without wheels and with armrests. Sit upright, with your feet flat on the floor and shoulder-width apart. Cross your arms over your chest, or place your hands on your thighs for support. Press through your heels and slowly rise to a standing position. Then slowly lower yourself back down. Start with just 5 repetitions a day. If you need to use the armrests at first, that's perfectly okay. As you get stronger, try doing it without them. Many of my patients are surprised at how quickly they notice a difference. After just a week or two, standing up from the couch or getting out of bed feels smoother. You don't need to chase progress. You just need to meet your body where it is and move forward from there. Another wonderful exercise is the wall push-up. It's gentle on the joints, doesn't require getting down on the floor, and strengthens the arms, shoulders, and upper chest, areas that often weaken with age but are vital for balance and stability. To do it, stand about 2 feet away from a wall, facing it. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height. Slowly bend your elbows to bring your chest toward the wall, keeping your body straight. Then press back to the starting position. 10 repetitions, once or twice a day, can build surprising strength. Plus, it's a movement that can easily become part of your daily routine. Maybe while waiting for your coffee to brew, or during a TV commercial break. And let's not forget about our legs, the true powerhouses of mobility. A gentle leg lift can do wonders for your hip stability and thigh strength. Here's how. Stand behind a chair, holding on for support. Slowly lift one leg out to the side, just a few inches off the ground. Hold for a second, then return to standing. Repeat on the other leg. Don't worry about height or speed. Even small lifts, done regularly, activate the muscles that help you stay balanced during daily movements. One of my favorite stories comes from a man named James, who was 75 when we started working together. He told me he'd stopped going to the hardware store because he felt unsteady carrying anything heavier than a light bag. We started with chair stands and wall push-ups, just 10 minutes a day. Within 6 weeks, he was not only going to the store, but confidently carrying 2 small paint cans back to his truck. That kind of progress doesn't require perfection. It just requires showing up for yourself. You might be wondering, how much is enough? For most older adults, aiming for around 10 to 15 minutes of strength-based movement a day is a great place to start. You don't have to do it all at once. Spread it out, 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Let it become part of your rhythm, not a separate chore. And if you miss a day, that's okay. Tomorrow is a fresh chance. What's important is your mindset. Strength building is not about chasing youth. It's about protecting your future. Every time you rise from a chair without hesitation, every time you step over a curb with confidence, you're investing in your freedom. I often encourage people to keep a small notebook. Just jot down the exercises you do each day. Not to judge yourself, but to celebrate your effort. A page full of check marks is a reminder that you're showing up, day after day, for your own well-being. And if you're someone who struggles with motivation, try pairing movement with something you enjoy. Do leg lifts while listening to your favorite music. Try wall push-ups while chatting on the phone with a friend. Movement doesn't have to be separate from joy. It can live right inside it. Another question I hear a lot is, what if I have joint pain or arthritis? That's a valid concern, and a common one. The key is to move in a way that's kind to your body. Avoid any motion that causes sharp pain. Choose exercises that are slow and controlled. And always listen to your limits. Some strength is better than none, and gentle consistency often leads to the biggest gains. Remember, your body is not a machine. It's a living, breathing history of everything you've been through. It deserves your patience, your care, and your encouragement. So, what's the takeaway from this section? Strength can be rebuilt at any age, and it can start with a chair, a wall, or a single step. You don't need to do it all today, but you can begin today. In our next section, we'll build on this foundation by focusing on balance, the quiet skill that helps you stay upright, stable, and confident in every movement you make. Let's move forward, one steady step at a time. 4. Balance. Boosters. Train your inner stabilizer. Now that you've started building gentle strength through daily movements, let's talk about something just as vital: balance. Balance is one of those things we often take for granted, until we feel it start to slip. Have you ever reached for something overhead and felt your feet shift underneath you? Or walked across uneven pavement and suddenly questioned your next step? That's your body reminding you that balance is more than instinct, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained, refined, and strengthened over time. Here's the good news: balance is not a mystery. It's not some hidden talent that only dancers or athletes possess. It's a combination of muscle strength, coordination, posture, body awareness, and inner confidence. And it can absolutely improve at any age. Let me introduce you to a simple idea that changed the way many of my older patients view movement. I call it your inner stabilizer. It's not a specific muscle or organ. It's your body's natural ability to keep you upright and centered as you move through space. But like anything we don't use, that ability can fade. The good news is, it can come back. We'll start with one of the most effective balance exercises: the heel-to-toe walk. This movement strengthens the connection between your mind and your feet. It's simple, yet surprisingly powerful. Here's how to do it. Find a clear hallway or space near a wall for support. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed. Step forward by placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of your other foot, like walking on a straight line. Pause for a second with each step, focusing on control. Continue for about 10 steps, then turn around and return. If you feel unsure, keep one hand lightly touching the wall. You're not trying to test how far you can go. You're practicing how connected you are with the ground beneath you. Many people report that this exercise helps not only with walking confidence, but also with posture and mental focus. You begin to walk more mindfully, more purposefully, and that awareness becomes a protective habit. Another excellent exercise is the single leg stand. This one might sound intimidating, but with the right support, it's very manageable and very effective. To begin, stand behind a chair, holding the backrest for balance. Slowly lift one foot a few inches off the ground. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Switch legs and repeat. The goal here is not perfection, it's progress. At first, you may need to hold the chair with both hands. That's perfectly fine. Over time, as your confidence grows, you might find yourself balancing with just one hand, and eventually with none at all. One of my patients, Irene, was 81 when she started practicing the single leg stand. At first, she could only manage 2 seconds with her right leg and barely 1 with her left. But she kept going, just a little each day, using her kitchen counter for support. Within a month, she could hold 10 seconds on each side and felt steady enough to take daily walks without holding her husband's arm. That's the magic of these small efforts. They quietly build strength in your ankles, calves, and core. And perhaps even more importantly, they rebuild trust between your body and your mind. Now let's talk about movement flow. Specifically, gentle practices like Tai Chi or mindful swaying. You don't need to take a class to benefit from the basics. You can simply stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Gently shift your weight from one leg to the other. Move your arms slowly through the air in front of you, like drawing circles or waves. These movements may seem simple, even slow, but they're deeply effective at training coordination, joint fluidity, and proprioception. That's your body's sense of where it is in space. Tai Chi, in particular, has been studied extensively in older adults, and time again, it's shown to reduce the risk of falls. Not because it's fast or strong, but because it's intentional, smooth, and deeply connected to breath and posture. I often encourage people to add a moment of stillness at the end of any movement practice. Just close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel your feet grounded. That connection to the floor, that sense of being rooted, helps train your brain to trust your body again. Here's something else to consider: Balance is as mental as it is physical. Have you ever noticed that you feel more wobbly when you're anxious or in a rush? That's because your brain is processing fear or pressure, not posture. A calm mind supports a steady body. So if you find yourself losing balance more when you're stressed, take a moment to breathe. Pause. Ground yourself. One deep breath can restore stability more than you might expect. Which brings me to an important point. Practicing balance doesn't just protect you from falls. It improves how you move through life. It gives you confidence to take the stairs, to walk across the lawn, to reach for a book on a high shelf, without hesitation. And confidence is powerful. It reminds me of Edward, a soft-spoken gentleman in his late 70s. After a minor fall in his kitchen, he became reluctant to walk without holding on to furniture. We started working on basic balance drills. Nothing complicated, just 10 minutes a day. After a few weeks, he sent me a note. I took my grandson to the park and walked on the grass. I haven't done that in years. That's what balance brings, not just stability, but the return of life's little pleasures. So as you begin to explore balance exercises, remember, start slow, use support as needed, focus on posture and breathing, and above all, be patient with yourself. Your balance, like your strength, is not lost. It's just waiting to be gently reawakened. In our next and final section, we'll bring everything together: your strength, your balance, your awareness, and look at how to create a safer home and a healthier mindset. Because preventing falls isn't just about how you move, it's about how you live. Let's finish strong, inside and out. 5. Creating a safer home and mindset. So far, we've talked about building strength, improving balance, and recognizing hidden risks in daily life. Now let's bring it all together. Because preventing falls isn't just about the exercises you do or the shoes you wear. It's about the environment you live in and the mindset you carry with you every day. Let's start with your home. For many older adults, the home is both a place of comfort and, without realizing it, a source of hidden hazards. And it's not because your home isn't tidy or cared for. It's because over time, we stop noticing the little things that might trip us up. So let's walk through a simple checklist together. First, lighting. Do you have enough light in the areas where you move most, especially at night? Hallways, staircases, the path from your bedroom to the bathroom. These are places where falls commonly occur. Installing nightlights or motion-activated lighting can make a world of difference. And keep flashlights handy, just in case the power goes out. Next, floors and walkways. Take a look at your rugs. Are they secured to the floor? Do the edges curl up? A non-slip backing can prevent rugs from sliding, or in some cases, it might be safer to remove them altogether. What about cords? Lamp cords, TV cables, extension cords. Tuck them along the wall or tape them down. A single loose cord can catch a toe and cause a serious tumble. Also, clear out any clutter from walkways. That stack of magazines by the couch, the shoes by the door, even a pet toy left on the floor. These things may seem small, but in the wrong moment, they become obstacles. Now let's talk bathrooms. They're one of the most common places where falls happen, and thankfully, one of the easiest to make safer. Consider installing grab bars next to the toilet and in the shower or tub. These aren't a sign of weakness, they're a sign of wisdom. They give you something to hold on to when things get slippery. Non-slip mats in the shower, a sturdy bath bench, and a handheld shower head can all add layers of support. And remember, don't rush in the bathroom. Many falls happen when we're hurrying to get somewhere or trying to do too much at once. Let's move to the kitchen. Are the items you use most stored at a reachable height? Avoid using stools or stepladders if possible. Reorganize your cabinets so that your essentials, plates, cups, daily ingredients, are at waist or chest level. If you do need to reach higher shelves, Use a sturdy reaching tool and never climb on chairs. Now, here's something many people overlook. Footwear inside the house. Slippers may be comfortable, but if they're loose, worn, or lack grip, they can be dangerous. Choose shoes with firm soles, closed heels, and good traction, even when you're indoors. Your feet are your foundation. Give them what they need to support you. Now we've covered the physical space, but just as important is the mental space you carry. After someone experiences a fall, or even just a near fall, it's common to feel fear. That fear, while understandable, can sometimes lead to reduced activity. You may start avoiding certain rooms, cutting back on walks, or choosing not to go out. And ironically, this avoidance leads to weaker muscles, poorer balance, and a greater risk of falling again. This is what we call the fear fall cycle. But the beautiful thing is, you can break it. How? By building what I like to call your fall prevention routine. It's a gentle, daily practice that combines everything we've talked about. A short, strength-building exercise in the morning. A quick check of your space. Are there any new hazards? Taking time to hydrate, eat regularly, and pause when standing up. Moving through your day with awareness and calm. Not rushing, but flowing. You don't need to turn your life upside down. Just a few intentional habits can shift everything. And perhaps the most powerful tool of all? Kindness toward yourself. If you feel unsteady one day, don't get discouraged. If you skip your routine or forget to stretch, don't feel guilty. The goal is not perfection, it's protection. Every effort you make, no matter how small, is an act of self-care. Let me tell you about Florence. She's 82 and lives alone in a small home. After a minor fall in her garage, she started avoiding going outside. Over time, her world shrank to the few rooms she felt safe in. When we started working together, we didn't begin with exercise. We started with her mindset. We talked about fear, about confidence, about how courage doesn't mean never being afraid. It means choosing to move forward anyway. Today, Florence walks to her garden every morning. She calls it her confidence loop. One lap around the roses, a deep breath of fresh air, and a smile. That's what freedom looks like. One small act at a time. So as you consider fall prevention, I encourage you to shift your focus from restriction to resilience. You are not fragile. You are adapting. Your body is wiser than it's ever been. And every time you choose awareness over rush, movement over stillness, and kindness over fear, you're not just preventing a fall. You're reclaiming your life. Because fall prevention is not the end of freedom. It's the beginning of a new kind of independence. And you deserve every step of it. In just a moment, we'll wrap up this video with a gentle recap and a reminder of how powerful your daily choices can be. But for now, I want you to take a moment. Breathe. Feel the ground beneath your feet. You're here. You're moving forward. And you're not alone. Let's take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've explored together today. You've learned that fall prevention is not about fear. It's about freedom. It's about tuning into your body, recognizing your environment, and building daily habits that help you move with confidence. We began by talking about why fall prevention matters. Not just because of statistics or injuries, but because it protects something far more precious: your independence. Your ability to live the life you love on your own terms. Then we looked at the hidden causes of falls, those quiet risks that live in the everyday corners of our lives, not to scare you but to empower you. Because when you see clearly, you can act wisely. You discovered how strength doesn't have to be loud or aggressive. Sometimes it looks like standing up from your chair with ease, or lifting your leg just a few inches off the ground, knowing that every movement adds up. We walked together through the gentle art of balance, how to train your body to find stability, and your mind to find calm. You don't need to move fast to move well. You just need to stay connected, present, and steady. And finally, we talked about transforming your home and your mindset. Because the safest place is not just where you live, it's how you live. Fall prevention isn't a set of rules, it's a rhythm of care. One that honors your experience, respects your pace, and reminds you every day that you are capable of more than you know. So as you go about your day, I encourage you to carry this with you. You are not fragile. You are evolving. Every step you take with intention, every stretch, every pause, every mindful breath, is part of a powerful, healing journey. Thank you for spending your time with Senior Health and Happiness. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and most of all, stay kind to yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you care about. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small habit you're adding to your daily routine? Your story might inspire someone else.